Making really good money without having a college degree isn't difficult. It's not rare. It's just not ever talked about. For some reason in our society today, throughout high school, especially here in the United States, it is taught to you that if you don't go to college, you don't live well. You don't do good in life. I have nothing against college as a blue collar person, but I have good friends that all went to school and none of them have really good jobs right now. I have seen the consequences of dropping $40,000 to $80,000 to go to school for a degree that's really useless. And I have seen people go to college and make a really good career for themselves and make a really good life for themselves. You have to be very smart with what you pick in college, but you can succeed without it. To give you an example, I'm 26 years old. This year I made $158,000 without my bonus. But when I was 17 years old in 11th grade, my English teacher in high school stood me up in front of the classroom, put her finger on my chest and said, "Cody, you will never amount to anything if you don't go to college." Wow. I think I'm doing all right. I plan on retiring by 35. I've got 2 houses to my name. I'm looking to buy my 3rd asset this year. We're doing okay. And that's what I want to talk about today. I know there's a lot of people like myself out there that you look at the college system and you go, that's not for me. I know I can do better than that, or I don't want to go to school again, or whatever. There's still opportunity out there. Now, trade school increases your chances significantly. I wish I would have gone to trade school, but I'm still making a really good career for myself without it. But nobody talks about the trades, right? All of our teachers always pointed at the electrician and the plumber, and they're like, oh, you don't want to be that person. That person's life sucks. That plumber's making $140,000 a year. He's doing pretty good for himself. That electrician might be pushing 200. Our electricians out here in the oilfield, they push like 250. That's really good money. That's really good money. A lot of degrees can't guarantee you even $100K. And you've got trade schools and you've got guys like me without a degree out here pushing in the 150s, the 250s, whatever. There's plenty of opportunity and it's just not talked about. And I have such a beef with that when it comes to high school teachers specifically and parents. So many parents push young men and women who have no interest in school to go into debt for school. Now, if you get your school paid for, do it 100%. Why not? But if you didn't, like me, I had no help going to college. So if I wanted to go, I'd have to pay for it completely. And that just was not in the cards. So I decided to go down to the oil field. I moved out to West Texas at 18 years old and made a life for myself. But nobody ever told me about it, right? Every career day I ever had, every time we sat down at the computer and plugged in everything we were interested in and answered those questionnaires, and here's a whole bunch of jobs that you might fit into based off this, never did anybody mention to me oil field. And I think that's crazy because I look around and I see all these opportunities, and that's what I post about on my other pages and such. And I get people out here because people have never heard about it. People are like, oh, you guys are making that kind of money out there? Well, what's the requirements? Pass a drug test. That's it. To make $100K, you just have to pass a drug test. And people don't hear about it. Teachers don't talk about it. Parents are never like, hey, you could go do this thing. You know, they're never honest about, hey, that plumber's making more money than I am at my office job. That electrician's making more money than I am. That lineman doubled my salary this year. Nobody talks about it. And I think that's crazy. And I think there needs to be some attention brought to the trades. And like I said, I'm not dissing college. I'm not saying it's not worth it to go to college, especially for certain degrees. But to say that there's not opportunity if you don't go to college is flabbergasting to me. I will never, ever understand it. And if you are a teacher or a parent who is spreading that information, please stop and start opening the students' eyes. Start opening your children's eyes to all of the opportunities around them. Some of the people that are the most wealthy and the most successful that I know never step foot into college. Never. Not one day in their life. And you know, hopefully like next year, I'll be pushing 200K. Never step foot into college. I never even applied to one. I wanted to make this video give some hope because I know there's some people out there, you know, that they're probably thinking their entire life has failed. That's what I thought. I signed up for the military. I was like, okay, if it's not college, it's the military. I blew out my knee the day after I signed my contract, and I had a come to Jesus moment, if you will. I sat at my kitchen table at my house at 3 a.m. with all the lights off, just sitting there in the pitch dark. And I thought I failed my life. I thought I failed my life because I had a teacher that told me if I didn't go to college, I'd fail. And I thought the military was the only other option. Nobody told me about all the money you could make out here in the oil field. Nobody told me about the trade schools. Nobody told me about going into construction, whatever, right? Heavy equipment operations, crane operations. I know a crane guy, you can go take one of those classes and you can make like $300K a year. Why is that never brought up? Why do parents and teachers push you so hard to go to college when there's so many better opportunities elsewhere, especially for the people that have no interest in going back to school? So yeah, I just wanted to get on here and talk about my story, talk about my opinion. That's all it is, right? An opinion. Just because I know there's people out there that are in the same situation or will be in the same situation. Or you may be thinking, oh man, I failed my life because I don't want to go to college. My parents are pissed off at me. My teachers think I'm a failure, whatever. Absolutely not. Like, don't even worry about that. Find purpose. Find something you want to pursue, something that interests you. Find a way to invest all that money. You're going to be in a good spot. You can make plenty of money without going to college, and there's plenty of high-paying jobs that don't require college, right? Like sales, the oil field. You can go to trade schools. You can get certain certifications, even a lot of safety positions and stuff, or pipeline testing, or x-ray testing, or HVAC, whatever. So many opportunities, and there's so many people out here doing very, very well for themselves. And those are the people that your teacher or your parents or whatever would point to and be like, those are the failures in life. That failure is probably doing better than your teachers, than your parents, whatever, right? They're doing okay for themselves. Like I said, some of the most wealthy and successful people that I know, they didn't go to college and they're doing something else. They're doing some type of trade and they worked their way up. I started out as a shop hand in the oil field. I made like $60K my first year. 8 years in, after bouncing around and being laid off for a year because of COVID, I made $150. This next year, I'm hoping to be over $200K without a college degree, not requiring one, no certificates, no extra requirements. I passed a drug test and I was willing to work, and that's all it took. That's all it took after a teacher put her finger in my chest and she said, you will never amount to anything if you don't go to college. Well, if this is never amounting to anything, then I think I'm doing okay, to be honest with you. And I just wanted to get on here and show people that there's a little bit of hope, right? Actually, there's a lot of hope. Nobody talks about it.